You know, Airbnb, that company that totally changed the game for how we all travel. But after this incredible decade of just explosive growth, it's now facing its biggest challenge yet. We're going to break down their master plan, the cracks in their foundation, and what it all really means for their future.
So here's the big question, and it's a huge one. Is Airbnb on the brink of a massive comeback, or is it actually teetering on the edge of a real crisis? Because when you look at the numbers, they tell two completely different stories.
I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got record-breaking profits, a mind-blowing $12.2 billion in revenue. But then, on the other side, Wall Street is clearly worried. The stock took an 8% nosedive right after their last earnings call. So what on earth is going on?
Okay, so to really get what's happening here, we've got to go back to basics. What made Airbnb this unstoppable force in the first place? It's all built on some incredibly powerful core strengths.
It really all kicks off with their asset-light model. Think about it. They have over 7 million listings around the world, but they don't have the insane costs of owning a single one of those properties. This gives them an absolutely wild 80+% contribution margin. It's the kind of capital efficiency that traditional hotel chains can only dream about.
And then you've got the brand. I mean, come on. Airbnb has reached the holy grail of marketing. It's become a verb. We all say, just Airbnb it. That's a huge advantage that lets them get tons of direct bookings and saves them a fortune on marketing.
And here's something else that's really propping them up, the boom in long-term stays. These now make up a full 20% of their business. We're talking about digital nomads and remote workers renting for a month or more, and that acts as this amazing buffer when the economy gets a little shaky. It's a super resilient, very profitable business for them.
But maybe their boldest move is this icons category. Look, these aren't just rentals. These are straight-up viral marketing campaigns. A night in the Ferrari Museum or the X-Men Mansion, that generates millions in free press and creates a kind of brand hype that no hotel chain could ever hope to replicate.
All right, so that all sounds pretty great, right? An unstoppable machine. But, and this is a big but, there are some serious cracks starting to show in that foundation, and they paint a much, much more complicated picture.
For years, and you probably know this feeling, the #1 complaint from users has been the exact same thing, those hidden fees. You know, that bait and switch where a cheap-looking price just explodes at the last second? You've definitely seen this, right? A place is listed for $100 a night, and then boom, after cleaning fees and service fees, the total somehow balloons to $250. It was a massive point of frustration for pretty much everyone. Now, to be fair, Airbnb heard the complaints. They brought in the total price display all over the world. So you see the all-in price right up front. No more surprises. It was a huge step for transparency.
Okay, so they fixed it. Problem solved, right? Well, maybe not. Did this fix actually create a whole new problem? It seems like it did. It's called sticker shock. Because when you see that $250 total right away, it suddenly doesn't seem quite so competitive next to a $220 hotel room that has a front desk and daily cleaning.
And that brings us to the other huge issue, something people call Airbnb roulette. You know, one trip you might get this stunning villa, and the next, you get a sketchy basement with a host who completely ghosts you. That level of inconsistency creates this trust gap that hotels, with their standardization, just don't have.
So with all these problems piling up, is CEO Brian Chesky just sitting back? No way. He's got a playbook, a comeback plan, and he's putting it into action to get the company back on track. Okay, a huge piece of this playbook is their move into hotels. But wait, they're not trying to be Marriott. They're being smart about it, targeting really unique, locally owned boutique hotels that kind of fit the Airbnb vibe, but also give travelers the reliability and amenities they're looking for.
And then there's this number, $1.4 trillion. That's the size of the global corporate travel market, and right now Airbnb has barely scratched the surface. With remote work and distributed teams becoming the new normal, Airbnbs are becoming a real threat to those boring airport hotels.
But here's the thing. You can have the best playbook in the world, but it doesn't matter if you get blindsided by outside forces. And for Airbnb, the external threats are very real, and the walls are definitely closing in. The #1 threat, by far, is the regulatory hammer. And look, this isn't just one city getting mad. New York City basically wiped out over 10,000 listings overnight. You've got major crackdowns in Barcelona, Paris, Amsterdam. This is a global wave that puts a hard cap on their ability to grow.
And what's driving all these regulations? It's the public story, the narrative. Rightly or wrongly, Airbnb is getting painted as the villain in the housing crisis, blamed for jacking up rents. And in politics,
That perception is reality. They are losing this PR battle big time. And while all this is happening, their competitive moat, that thing that made them unique, is starting to look more like a puddle. Booking.com now has a huge inventory of vacation rentals, and Google Travel just lumps everything together. That's a huge threat, because it could turn Airbnb into just another option on a list.
So you put it all together, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's clear Airbnb is standing at a major crossroads. How they play their cards next is going to define their future.
So let's game this out. What are their strategic moves here? Well, they can use their strong brand to do more icons partnerships. To fix their quality problem, they could launch a premium verified tier so you know what you're getting. To fight back against regulators, they could create a responsible hosting program. And to really speed up their push into hotels, they could just go out and buy a hotel aggregator.
And that leaves us with the one big question we started with. Are we just watching a giant trying to defend its turf, fighting off competitors and regulators? Or is this a company that's about to reinvent itself all over again and find that innovative magic that made it a travel titan in the first place? The next couple of years are going to tell the whole story.